We back with DC strats for Night of the Lake. This season the boss is stability and all mech units have minus 15% HP per second. Esper units have plus 100% attack and HP with 50% skill haste. My recommendation for Super Fusion cores this season is to 120 Mordred and Regina for DPS, and a Nayeli and Linjian for survivability. I will be going over the mechanics of the fights, some stats for nerds, and I have an example team for you to use this season. All of this will be timestamped, which you can find in the video description, so let me show you what I got. Start off with, besides having all the Riz, this boss has no type. Also, Liz makes a special appearance to make sure that you cannot cancel out until she's done talking. Night of the Lake special conditions activates when there are 2 or more soldiers, non-summon soldiers on the field. He gains plus 50% attack and plus 30% haste, and this does not get removed until there are no soldiers on the field. Night of the Lake's pattern enhance. After the first phase change where he walks forward, he gains an 8-second buff that gives him 200% damage reflection. Then he gains an additional phase change at 20% HP. It's identical to the 60% HP one where he steps forward, and he gains the same 8 seconds of 200% damage reflection, but then he also gains 8 seconds of surefire. Boss's basic attack is a multi-hit attack that some of the hits are actually delayed. Boss's special, indicated by the blue bar underneath his portrait, is an attack that strips shields and hits the farthest unit in the back. It does have more than one valid hit, so it can hit your ship. Boss's ulti is a full map attack. This can hit your ship as well. It can be iframed, and it can be cancelled by a phase shift. This boss has 3 phases. In the first phase, he basically just uses his basic specials and ulti. Once he loses a bar of HP, he will sit there and shift to the center of the map, where everything behind him gets silenced, 50% damage amp, and minus 200% attack. And if nothing's in front of him, he will sit there and attack your ship. Once this boss reaches his last bar of HP, he will shift into phase 3, in which he sits there and does a giant AoE, hitting your entire team for a large amount of damage. Time for some stats for nerds. This boss has 2.6 million HP, 2.8k defense, 5.8k hit, and only 627 evasion. This means your tanks are going to need 3,110 evasion or more in order to dodge, and your DPS will need at least 1,176 or more hit, or if you shred by 50% evasion, you'll need 558 or more hit. Be careful with the deploy at the start. If you deploy too quickly, the boss will one-shot some of your team. You either need to wait for the first basic, or deploy your units a little farther back. If for some reason your Orca lives phase 1, you have a short period of time during the phase transition in which you can desummon her. This is important because if you let her stay out for the full phase transition, the boss will reduce her ulti's cooldown bar, which then you won't be able to ulti during phase 2. We are going to start with auto deploy turned on and manually deploy Chinatsu. If you have your team in the same order as me, you can leave auto on and never let it deploy Regina. This will let auto take care of your ship skills while you're deploying your units and managing ults. Now, this whole run depends on Mordred dodging, by the way, and let me tell you, she defies the odds. She's cute, adorable, maybe a bit of a drinking problem, but even with 50% evasion, she still finds a way to get hit. Now, Anilia is going to be what you're going to want to deploy here while you do Lin Jian's ultimate, and you're going to ult on Chinatsu, but you don't want to cancel her special. This will give you the maximum amount of heals and also line up things later for her heals in the second phase. Now you notice I've already got Nayeli sitting there, and we're going to retreat her before she uses her special. Lin Jian can tank for a little bit, and we're going to redeploy Lin Jian before she uses her special so we don't have her locked in animation. Redeploy Nayeli and Chinatsu, and I go ahead and retreat Mordred, just get her out of the way. Not really necessary, but is what it is. Now, next we're going to ult on Lin Jian, and then ult with Chinatsu here during this phase, well, during the boss's ultimate, and then deploy our Regina. And Nayeli has her ult, but we're going to hold on to that just for a little bit longer. We need to get our Mordred out as soon as possible. What you don't want to do is ult right away, because we'll push too fast. And we want to use Mordred here, even though she's on Death Pin. The Death Pin's not going to really help all too much in the second phase, but her blind is super important. So around about this time is where I sit here and ulti on Nayeli, because this will let us push and get the boss to phase, and right about the time that he gets blinded, so that we have a blind on the boss during the phase, and hopefully our units will dodge. If your Lin Jian dies, go ahead and redeploy her so that you can ultimate, and don't deploy Solovie just yet. And by the way, Solovie is pretty replaceable by a lot of different awakens if you want to use them. I'm just using her just in case I accidentally get into a perfect evasion moment from the boss, and that'll allow my units to have a better chance to hit the boss. But after he steps forward, that's when you want to pop all ultimates, and put as much damage as you can on it. For this team, we're running Quad as a ship, Sysop as the operator. Lin Jian is running tanky CDR. We do need to run inhib hands on her. Nayeli is going to be running HP with healing, incoming healing. Regina, we're going to be running double anti-tower. Unfortunately, we can't really get too much Cat 1, so we're going to be stacking a ton of crit damage. For Chinatsu, we want to be fast and tanky, but we don't actually need... Well, we can use Swift hands on her. Joaina, we're just running a broken set. We're going to be doing HP and making sure that we do run her EE. And then for Mordred, she's going to be doing all the heavy lifting at the beginning, so we want to run as much Death Pin as we can on her. For Anilia, we want her to live for a couple more seconds if she can, so we're going to be putting HP tank gear onto her. And then for Solovie only comes out and does her special and dies to the damage reflect, so we're just going to stack as much special damage amp as we can on her. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you improve your scores this season. I swear Mordred is a type that if something was heading her way and she was perfectly safe, she would step into it and get hit. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Institute by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link is in the description. And if you want to help support this channel, there's a link in the description for that too. As always, I will see you all next time.